Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you. We're here to talk about macroeconomics. At the end of this talk, my hope is that you have a greater love for the economy. My name is Bruce Kerber. I'm the author and originator of the Divine Economy models and the Divine Economy theory. I'm an economist in the classical liberalism tradition. Today, we're going to consider the following statement on a screen share. I take advantage of the conceptual potentialities of the Cartesian coordinate system and use it as a part of the design of my subjective model. In my model, the two-dimensional system is subjective or abstract, as is the third dimension and the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension. In other words, my model is five-dimensional. Today's story is about building a model, not an airplane model and not a sailboat in a bottle model. Patience and determination are nevertheless needed. However, since the model is already built, you just need to ponder. And what that means is to think conceptually and logically and to honor the full human reality. Also, honor the full reality of the power of equilibrium. I'll walk you through the model. We'll take a look at all of its dimensions. But first, let's take a look at the standard three-dimensional model of the Cartesian coordinate system. You can see the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. Now let's look at the initial image that appeared to me in a dream in 2004. It is two-dimensional. Even after adding foundational economic elements, it remains two-dimensional. Adding to the model by submerging the two-dimensional model, latent and active entrepreneurship converts the model into a three-dimensional model. A more familiar looking dimension, the fourth dimension, is the outcome of adding a z-axis, which is called the nature and role of knowledge. Changing from a static model to a dynamic model is what makes the model five-dimensional. I know that's a lot to digest at once, and it is also true that very little of the meaning of the concepts embedded in the model have been described. Yet two things are clear. One, the model unfolds logically. Two, it is organic, simple yet complex and profound. Oops, I gotta go back to here and go back to screen share. I take advantage of the conceptual potentialities of the Cartesian coordinate system and use it as part of the design of my subjective model. In my model, the two-dimensional system is subjective or abstract, as is the third dimension and the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension. In other words, my model is five-dimensional. Aren't all models abstractions? That is definitely true. All models are abstractions. It is evidence that we our minds are finite, and we are seeking and stretching out towards the infinite. We do that by creating or finding a model that representatively mirrors what it is we're trying to comprehend. Of course, there are models that are figments of the imagination and fail to capture the true essence of the sought-after goal. When an education excludes the correct methodology for the human sciences and thereby denies the subjective nature of all human valuations, choices, and actions, a major barrier is put up. Some think, why even try to break through the barrier? I empathize with those who are convinced that there is only one scientific method. That is what they were taught, and that is all they know. But since humans are subjective and worthy of study, the use of models is important and inevitable. Any model that doesn't represent and mirror humans as subjective in nature are figments of imagination and failures. In reality, it is clear and evident that the methodology of subjectivism is the only scientifically valid way to model human action, other than, but more powerfully than, logical discourse. What can we learn from this life lesson? Poor education is at the heart and center of the problem. The divine economy model and the divine economy theory does wonders for the science of economics, but it does much more than that. It tears down the educational barriers that exclude the scientific methodology for the human sciences. Imagine the impact of both of these revolutionary insights. I hope that you'll subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.